Game 1 is about to kick off. Gen.G Mobil 1 versus Kansas City Pioneers. It seems to be very, very one-sided. Gen.G, will that get in their heads though? Thinking, well, this is ours to lose essentially.
It absolutely is, but that is also maybe where the bane of their existence could land, because if you are KCP, everything on the table to prove, not a whole lot to give away. Talked to JG a little bit yesterday. I said, talk to me about what the team's feeling, what you like most about the squad right now. He said their trust, plain and simple. They keep the game simple. They try not to overthink their plays, but they trust one another to make those quick decisions. And so far, we'll see if it works out off the opening kickoff. It was KCP with possession, but Abject gonna take it back. Now Gen.G have a chance.
Attempting one of apparently Jack's very, very common air dribble bumps. A little bit cringe from him, and an awkward touch coming towards that center as well. Pressure starting off for Gen.G in this match. Apparently Jack trying to find somebody central, waits and changes the pace of that play entirely. Looked like it was going to be rapid, instead just falls it nice and slow. Nolly to win over towards the net, but Bananahead saving it wide.
Quick touches, front center of the box. Nolly gonna try to center it back out, continues the play with a second. We're looking at the battle of the first and second touch really for Pioneers. They're gonna have to start winning some of those defensive holds as they do so to get back out to midfield. Now breakaway chance, but Nolly will quickly clear it and leaves it on a dime where apparently Jack was ready and waiting for the call. He was there in time, but now we stall out towards the midfield. And for KCP, kind of keys to victory going into this right, control the boost, try to make sure you can keep the offense pushed back against Gen.G, and always find ways to get those 50s, those challenges. If you can keep them off their game, Gen.G will have to work overtime, and that's what you want.
Yet again, Gen.G trying to go for an attack, Nolly passing over towards apparently Jack, isn't able to get anything from that chance, however. Chronic high up, challenging against Hunter, that young man who we're going to be looking at a lot, and finally Nolly with a massive goal to start it off, and you see how much that means to him immediately. Yes, it's a series that they think they're going to win. Yes, this is going to be one where they think, well, if we lose this is devastating, but that is a huge reaction out from Nolly. And if we just think back to the Rotterdam Major as well, there were times where we saw, literally their first series was against an OCE team, and Gen.G smashed it. And then their second round in that Swiss, they went up against Oxygen and got embarrassed. It was not a good result. There was 3-0. There were very, very few goals in the way of Gen.G as well. In KCP, they're really changing that script, different in winter potentially.
And just looking at the positives of the last goal, you're thinking, okay, I can see the communication here. You can see it right here on the other side as well. Like, we're going to put it off the back wall. We're going to hope for a 50. If we get lucky enough, then we'll fill in the gaps, try to make sure we put this one on target, play through the congestion. And with that, we now have ourselves a tie game. But very early on, we are looking for when maybe the Gen.G offense will come online. Yes, they just scored a goal, but as the series continues, that's where Gen.G start to get very potent. They start to get very aggressive. And Pioneers have a real chance to jump out ahead in these first two games and bring the fight to them, to force Gen.G to overcommit on some of these transitions, like we're seeing now, as Scrub will go up towards the back wall, leaves it off the post, a big demo to clear lane, but nobody with possession for the moment.
There have been some good chances, I feel, for Pioneers so far too. They've had, I feel like, a couple more shots too. I mean, coming in, they've had 4 already. Chronic on the third shot manages to make it the second goal, and the demo on that goal line is going to be opening up. Gen.G looking much happier, and Nolly clearing it out with the double demo too. That man is a destructive demon.
I got to think it's pretty easy to score on that net when there's nobody else around, because Nolly has handled the pressure appropriately. Already a 2-1 ball game, but plenty of time here in our first game of this best of 5. Granted, all games today will be best of 5, so if you're waiting for your favorite team to go through the gauntlet, that'll have to wait for the rest of the weekend. But we stay here for the moment, as Nolly will try to clear it off his own side of the field, and Hunter will circle into the play, leaves it back for possession. Bananahead now following forward in suit. Tries to run point, will be unsuccessful. Scrub leaving it. Soft touch, front box. Bananahead tried to get up in time, but a good read there on the defensive end by Gen.G.
Scrub has had some really good chances. I feel like he's been facilitating a lot of opportunities for Pioneers. He's passed a couple of times, he's been getting some shots towards the middle too. Hunter going for a reset, isn't able to get it on that chance, but Gen.G realizing that, okay, these boys have got some mechanics that are going to be theoretically rivaling ours. Chronic, the young new star, on the block, isn't able to get anything from that opportunity that time. 2 minutes remaining, and chances over and over again falling just by the wayside for the Pioneers.
I'm really liking the offensive third pressure we're seeing out of KCP. They're constantly challenging the ball right off the point of contact from the back wall, not allowing Nolly to get a clean clear downfield, nor Chronic to find a way to bring that ball back down to the earth. And for Bananahead, you're kind of keeping this pressure towards the back where it's really helping Scrub feel more comfortable. You're seeing the infield passes open up just a little bit more for Pioneers, and that's through the gaps where they can really capitalize. But now it comes down to the counterattack. The transition is there for Gen.G. They'll try to clear this one away. Hunter, leaving on his lonesome, will follow in off the ball, but Nolly takes it back.
Midfield sees Chronic get faked out by Banana Head. Nolly sending the ball back towards him. Hunter, though, intercepting. The speed from him has been impressing me as well. Positioning, making sure that any opportunity that he goes for is going to be at least somewhat threatening. Scrub with a challenge in the midfield. Goes long, back towards that halfway line. Hunter up into the sky, but with no boost or 30 boost. I feel like he could have challenged that, but didn't fancy it. Instead gets outsped. Gen.G very low themselves. For a minute, they had about 30 between them. Then Nolly and Jack in tandem picking up 200 between.
This one is still winnable here if you're KCP. We already saw a demo at the midfield, so numbers advantage for the moment. The Pioneers now trying to press. It's going to be Scrub getting the call, but yet again, Nolly cutting down and intercepting that ball. Chronic burning all of his boost and a reset just to keep the ball alive through the corner. Now the swing upfield. If you're Gen.G, you're throwing numbers at this play, and Banana Head will try to escape, will do so. Gets the back corner grab, resources for the moment. Pioneers now have to press. Here comes the touch. Hunter still circling, still roaming, but they don't get the look they were going for, and the clear wasn't there. It's a wasted opportunity.
Scrub burned a load of boost on that chance too. I feel like he could have made a good push downfield as both two players from Gen.G push their way towards the blue side of the pitch. Instead, though, he just sends it high, lands awkwardly, jumps awkwardly, nothing came from it. Now we find ourselves 15 seconds remaining in this game number one. Gen.G 2-1 up, Chronic with a reset, Nolly with a demo. Looked like the start of that first goal that Gen.G managed to score for themselves, but it will not be. Final push for Pioneers. Banana in the sky with one reset. Gets the second one bumped by apparently Jack and Nolly to touchdown. Gen.G Mobil 1. Game number one.
I love that play from Abjack at the end, right? Rather than just try to challenge the 50 and hope for an awkward bounce, he just bumps the car. He's like, nope, you're not going anywhere, and that ball's going to hit the pay dirt. And it does to start. A very close game one in this series. What you want from KCP, just showing as how this one might go. But for Gen.G, calm, cool, collected. They didn't look like they were under any pressure really throughout. And they handled their business. This is what this team does best. They play clean, consistent Rocket League, and they never look like they're in over their heads.
I feel like also when you look at how Gen.G want to approach a game, they try to make it as... They're very intelligent. They try to make every play the best one in that given moment. They've said to other teams, like they've said, okay, why have you come to North America and just beaten everyone? They're like, well, nobody thinks. No one's thinking. No one's thinking, how do we beat them? They just do the same thing over and over again. That's how Gen.G managed to manipulate other teams into essentially beating themselves. They're like, oh, okay, well, you, in 9 times out of 10, when the ball's in this position, you send somebody in this position and somebody in this position. So therefore, we can counter that. Just think when you play them. It sounds so simple when you put it like that, because then you're trying to beat 3 of the best players in the world right now. And with Gen.G taking that first game, it's going as expected, but Pioneers with absolutely a couple of decent chances and not going ungoalless.
And look,
ungoalless.
It is ungoalless.
What does that hang on? I think
Let's
just goalless. Ungoalless is one. And Gen.G, they are very much goal-full.
Well done. From Abjack and you. I'll give a nice round of applause to the British men. As there it goes. It's a 1-0 lead quickly for Gen.G. But, I mean, for Pioneers, look, outside of maybe that missed opportunity with the counterattack at the end of game one, there weren't a lot of mistakes. Defensively, offensively, they didn't maybe get the looks they wanted, but they played Gen.G close down to the ground. They played them appropriately in the air. The contests were there. Transitions were good. As Abjack almost puts the second one away. It was a very clean game one for Pioneers. They have to be feeling somewhat good going into the second one on Forbidden Temple, hoping that they can potentially notch up the series.
30 seconds gone with Gen.G, continuing pressure too, but with apparently Jack getting bumped over and over again. Scrub giving so many other players chances. Instead, he takes it himself this time, bouncing from that corner and getting rid of Jack, who actually passes the ball on from that bump too. Great play from Scrub. What a guy he has been in this game so far.
Hey, he's been waiting to break open from that game one, and he finally gets his opportunity, gets a nice little assist there from Abjack, and just takes him out of the play. But you're going to get burned sometimes if you don't pay attention on the kickoffs. Very quickly, Gen.G capitalize on the mistake.
You've just got to think. You've just got to think sometimes. And Nolly able to, seeing that ball go very nicely towards him on the cheat. Apparently Jack is able to have it land wonderfully as well, because the man, the myth, the 1v1 legend in apparently Jack 2, kickoffs are his absolute forte. Yes, he complains a little bit in his YouTube videos that First Skillers was better than him at these kickoffs, but he's not too bad himself.
What a nice center there from Chronic, and it sets up Nolly for the immediate 50 win. And now possession through the corner, Gen.G can start to press and build that offense up time and time again. They do it so well as the pinch will lead way to a clear for Banana Head off the back wall. It's trying to get it laterally, will do so. And an adjacent push. Scrub clears it off the crease. Hunter now following through. Has to burn all of his boost to keep this one forward and corkscrews his way down to the ground before Banana Head gets the call at midfield. An immediate redirect there from Gen.G. The offense is up. Chronic gonna play towards the sidewall. Abjack falls off the play, back in rotation. The island is there, and Gen.G can try this yet again.
I admire what Jack did on that play too. The fact that he went for that double tap, realized I can't get this one, so I'll leave it for my teammate. Nolly also does the same, realizes I can't get this. Maybe it bounces into a horrible position for my teammate too. It's better for me to just leave this. Did so, and then no goal came from it, but also no goal came against them from it either. And that's the kind of play that Gen.G are so fantastic at.
Well, you still got a lot of time here in Forbidden Temple, but you're going to have to start working back slowly but surely if you're Pioneers. We saw them with a 1-goal deficit in Game 1. It didn't lead to anything. And now a chance, another one dangerously thrown towards the net. And here comes Chronic. He's just going to rip it towards the opposite post. It's not enough to go in, but it is enough to at least get Pioneers off their lonesome, so start following in on these challenges. These are down at Banana Head. Chronic following forward. Gen.G one at a time, taking their opportunities, their looks. Just trying to feel comfortable right now on the offensive third, but a breakaway finally, and a big clear. Pioneers need to clear the pressure.
It was a great beat too, as Chronic now able to air dribble towards the middle of the pitch, but I had to challenge. Apparently Jack on the open net yet again. 3-1 Pioneers beginning to fall the way of their oceanic brethren. I saw CJ earlier today. He was been wandering around a little bit. He was wearing some shorts and a hoodie. And on the back of his hoodie, it says, "We are OCE." And he was saying to me, I might take this off, you know. Didn't really feel too inspired by his countrymen of saying, okay, we've currently gone 0-6 on the day. Maybe it's not the one so far.
It's currently 0-7 at this point.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's plenty of time to turn around, and so far, Pioneers look like maybe the cleanest team to do it here at the moment, but you're certainly going to need a complete momentum shift because it's really just been all of Gen.G. They've capitalized at those midfield shots when there's been space. Pioneers have given them an opportunity to take a risky challenge. They've done it. On the last goal, Banana Head goes for a bit of an interesting 50, and it does not pay off as he gives possession right back. And Chronic going to try to punish, will do so, leaves it on a center, but couldn't get the extra touch to eventually fall through on the play. And Abjack can just play a 1v1 here. We know how good he is at that, killing a lot of time right now. Pioneers can't get out of their own side of the field.
Yeah, and regardless, Chronic, didn't get a goal, but he burned, what, 4, 5, 6 seconds on just floating somewhere near it, and then going for the bump on Hunter, burning yet another couple of seconds on that too, with him having to reposition. Minute 45, 2 goals that Pioneers are going to need to try and bring back and wrestle home on Forbidden Temple. Hunter in the corner, challenging alongside Chronic. Banana Head to receive, get one flick away, but apparently Jack stays nearby. He is a nuisance of a man.
Those clears are really great, but not if you can't continue the play, not if you can't start pushing those into second touch wins to opportunities downfield, because it gives the ball right back. The possession is still there for Gen.G, and that's a problem right now. They just don't have enough to clear this away. That is a ridiculous 50, Chow. Abjack centers it back out, still 1v2ing in front of the box, and now you're just looking at a scramble of a clear here for Pioneers. You're losing time very, very quickly, and it's starting to trickle away at kind of the mental they built up from that Game 1 success that they now need to show up in this series,
pressure.
and they aren't doing it. It's 4-1, and Gen.G are pressuring the life out of Pioneers.
It's pressure over and over again. There was no time in the last, minute or so where Gen.G were in their own half. It was just time after time, shooting. We can't shoot on this chance. We'll go to the side, we'll go to the ceiling, we'll pass it instead. And it leads to their 4th goal. Pioneers utterly suffocated and going blue from the lack of breath.
55 seconds to play. You would love a bit of a miracle goal here just to get the troops back on your team. That might do it. That save is ridiculous from Chronic. He literally dolphin dives back to the opposite post just to keep it out. A 4-1 ball game. We got 40 seconds to play. You've got to be joking. Hunter able to put it through. Sustained offense. Pioneers finally.
Seeing what Gen.G did so fantastically in trying to emulate it themselves. KCP Hunter with just a flick over the top, and apparently Jack, backflipping, making an error, forcing Nolly to try and get up as soon as he can. Isn't able to do so. Pioneers reducing that deficit to just 2.
You think it's the start of something. A kickoff goal would have been great. Still have plenty of time on the clock, but Abjack in a 1v1 quickly denied, hand up to block. Banana Head will clear it, and now fight for his life with possession as well. Under 30, back to the midfield, right back to Gen.G's hands. Every time we've seen it clear from Pioneers, it's gone right back to Gen.G. There needs to be an adjustment made in the midfield. Nolly trying to put this one away.
Oh, I wanted that to go in. Oh, I wanted that to go in. That ceiling pinch would have been the stuff of dreams. That pre-jump from Banana Head, though, attempting to turn this nightmare into a bit of a dream themselves. And Chronic from the backboard is going to be reducing the time. Little smidges, 1 by 1. Gen.G, game number 2, going their way yet again. Apparently, Jack just going to be wasting yet more of my words as we leave the ball to hit the floor. It's 0 seconds, we'll count it, whatever.
At this point, you're looking at just how the stats of this game 2-1. You got 1 demo for Gen.G and 8 for Pioneers. They were just slaughtering Gen.G when it comes to the physicality, but you lose 4-2. Granted, the shots were 10-9 in favor of Pioneers again. You're thinking these stats should start formulating a win. They should start cultivating a culture of dominance on the field. It's not happening. Gen.G are just a little bit cleaner.
Well, Pioneers, they find themselves with 10 shots, 2 goals in that game. They find themselves with 2 games and 2 losses. They need to be getting 3 in a row versus one of the greatest teams in the world right now. These are the kind of series where you kind of look at it and you think, right. How can we turn it around? How can we say to keep everybody excited, thinking, yeah, you know what? This is going to be one for the history books where it will turn around. KCP just haven't given much. They've had a couple of, decent enough chances. They've had some good demos, but the demos haven't led to much. They haven't led to anything. And with the offense that Gen.G can put forward, I'm not sure what their plan is.
I mean, look, if we're just looking at how KCP have played the last 2 games, the sample size is only 2, but every time they've cleared the ball away, there's been nobody upfield to continue to play. They've given possession back to Gen.G. Gen.G are getting free possession every single time. That's been the big factor so far. Look, whether or not that changes how the offense looks for Pioneers, we don't know. But Pioneers cannot afford to continue just to go for empty clears. So there's got to be some sustained drive downfield. There has to be an opportunity there other than just clearing the ball and leaving it for Gen.G to get back.
I love that save from Banana Head too. Manages to get it back into the corner. I don't love that touch nearly as much because Nolly can come in and challenge it. Touches back center. A save away from Hunter on that chance. And Banana Head again trying to push his nose ahead of the ball. A demo, a bump, opportunities, but a miss from Hunter. So vital for that entire play that he gets that ball over towards Scrub.
It really looked like their first real clean chance at sustained offense, but you can't afford to miss that touch, especially not here at day 1 of the major. As they'll try to clear this one out. Another demo, but this time it's in favor of Gen.G. Abjack's going hunting and through the corner. It's centered perfectly, but nobody's around. Abjack just circles back into the lane and cuts off his own rotation to keep this one viable, but Banana Head will try to clear and center out, and there's Chronic circling in for the toss.
Scrub, opportunity on the backboard to get a bump, isn't able to, and apparently Jack works it around the side of 2 players, make it 3, and make it a goal as well. Apparently Jack weaving his way down past all of the defense.
Cool, calm, collected, avoids one bump and just sends it on its way. The defense is nowhere to be found, and I don't care how much boost you have, Scrub is not getting back in time. It's a 1-0 lead very quickly, and now the pressure starts sitting on the mentals of Pioneers. Look, it's been a close series. It's been a clean one for the most part, but you're down 0-2. You're currently down 1-0 in Game 3. If you go down 2-0, you have to think they're going to start scrambling to come up with anything.
Yeah, and when the game gets a little bit messier too, I normally feel that the team with the best mechanics is able to work through it a bit better. That, unfortunately, for Pioneers, does fall towards Gen.G. So if this does get scrappier, which it does look to be to an extent, then I do worry to see how the Oceanic lads are going to be able to fare with it. Nolly with a shot on target. Chronic isn't able to get that second touch in, however. Had to read it very well off that crossbar, but isn't quite able to get the finesse.
Scrub very low on boost, and Chronic's going to steal that big pad. So, okay, now you're just trying to commit resources to this and clear this ball away. Something the Pioneers have done quite well in this series, but you can't afford just to give the possession back to Gen.G. You cannot afford just to give them free roam upfield. They have so much space to work with, and off the backboard sharply, we'll go back to the midfield line. Chronic will be there. He'll circle back in. Leaves it on a dime for what we would assume is a follow-up either from Abjack or Noli, but no one will follow for the moment. There comes Abjack towards the sidewall. Noli will grab. And yet again, another minute or so burned off the clock. This is a lot of time going away that Pioneers desperately need.
Jack passing off back towards Chronic on the back pass. Scrub to the backboard. Chronic therefore should be going low. Instead, with a reset, top right corner found. Gen.G with 2.
He gets his space. Beautiful park. Pops it high.
Oh, the fake!
Plays with all of the aerials he needs. Flip, reset, rolls it off the hood. Top right post.
And the backboard fake. Seeing that Scrub goes up there, he teases, saying, I'm going there, but it blocks me. Then at the last second, flipping round, getting the reset, then can send it top right. Incredibly intelligent play from the man from America on this largely European team. But Gen.G, my word, have they started to find their groove.
And the confidence from the youngest player on this roster, right? Like, Chronic's just stepped up this season, really in a way that a lot of rookies really dream of. He's been an absolutely fantastic addition to the squad, rounding out the roster and helping secure a regional championship to boot as well, and giving them stake as one of the best teams in the world. But right now, if you're Pioneers, you just need a complete turnaround. It has not been a bad series by any stretch, but there's been no real progress. There's been no wins so far, and you're certainly hoping for a goal to be put on the board and give them some signs of life. With a minute 45 to play, it's just been all the pressure from Gen.G for the moment. And at that midfield line, the boys are still there. They're still finding ways to cut up a lot of these passes.
Gen.G find themselves in pretty much every location I feel that Pioneers fancy the ball to be in and fancy themselves to be in too. They think, okay, they've been so grounded for a little while, we'll send it high. And they're already seeing Nolly pre-jump. It's like, well, how do you know that?
Yep.
How do you know what we're about to do? Have you bought the book on what the Pioneers playbook does seem to be? And yeah, sometimes it really does look like that. Nolly passing to the ceiling. And Bananahead getting a little bit tangled up alongside Hunter. Bananahead really just starting to chase that ball now, and I do not blame him. Send everything that you can because, mate, you've got a minute and you need to.
And now that you're putting shots at the net, you're rotating back to the midfield grabs, so you're getting the full pads as well. There's no resources here for Pioneers to escape on a counterattack. They're just trying to make sure that the water rushing down into the town is held back by these very brittle doors because the defense really hasn't been there for the majority of this series. But now they're fighting tooth and nail to keep this one out, and it just isn't working. Noe's getting double taps off of the own backboard of the Pioneers, and they're struggling to get to the midfield line. Finally they do, but it's immediately cut down by Noli. Yet again, that midfield pressure from Gen.G, it's so tough to counter, and they just haven't found an answer.
The interceptions from Nolly this series have been phenomenal. He has been, I described Jack earlier as the nuisance man, but Nolly really does seem to have taken over that role. The final 25 seconds is going to be a frustrating 25 seconds as Pioneers yet to find a single goal in game number 3. Chronic attempting to be getting the third. Nolly just trying to stomp down Scrub, does so successfully. Chronic and Gen.G, they go 3-0 versus the Pioneers.
Easy, breezy. It's beautiful. It's Gen.G. I didn't set that up. It just kind of came to me.
That was
but
really nice.
Seconds. Thank you. Appreciate it.
I can imagine using that in a video in the future.
Oh, you know what? You can steal it. How's that sound?
Thanks. I was not going to ask permission. I was just going to do it. You forfeit your rights to your words on this stream.
Pioneers forfeited their rights to a goal, apparently. Never mind. They get it back.
I bet you feel silly.
9 seconds. You know what? I always feel silly. So you're always feeling silly. You're never silly. 9 seconds to go. Is a miracle possible? Potentially. Is it going to happen?
No.
We hope. Maybe a game 4. Gen.G just
for me.
phenomenal in this series.
Don't speak for me.
Look, they're clean.
Don't speak for me.
They're clean.
Don't speak for me.
Because it's not. They're not clean.
No, but hey, whoa, don't put words in my mouth. They are clean,
Yeah.
but it's not happening. Okay. They're not getting to. Oh, it would have been funny. No, unfortunately, for the Pioneers, that is going to be yet another 0-3 series for them. Gen.G, that is business as usual. That is what they do at the top of North America.